everyone, my name is Alex and welcome to my YouTube channel. If this is your first visit, then welcome, and if not, then welcome back. I hope you enjoyed today's video around pricing. So pricing for a business is possibly the hardest thing to get right. It is the area where we probably as business owners have the least amount of confidence, and it's an area which can be really difficult to get right in the first place. So we're going to go through the 6-step process we use with our clients to help them figure out what their pricing is going to be so that you can have an idea of how to go about your pricing. It is the one area you will guaranteed be challenged on by clients and customers, so you need to be really sure of your pricing. If you've followed a methodology and you know exactly how your pricing has come about, then you are far less likely to discount your fees than you are if you've had a quick Google search and a bit of a ring around the other local businesses to see what they are charging. In that instance, you're not going to have the confidence in your numbers, and you're more than likely take a back step and say you'll discount your fees should someone actually ask you to give them a discount. Today we're going to look at the 5 different ways that you can use to do your pricing, and then we will go into our 6-step process that we use with our clients. So the 5 different ways that you can do your pricing is by the hour or by the day. You can then also use a fixed price plus a markup. There's a by retainer, which is just where you have an amount that you pay and then you just provide the service on an ongoing basis. Then you've got by commission, and then lastly the value of the service that you are providing. So they are the 5 different ways that you can actually use to price your services and products. The 6-step process. The first step in this is to calculate your costs. To really understand how your pricing is driven is you really need to know how much it costs you to deliver the product or the service. To do this, you need to be able to add up all your costs. Now, I just thought I'd just stop here and say that means that you need to add up your direct and indirect costs, or your indirect costs can also be known as overheads. So your direct costs are going to be things like materials, supplies, sometimes labor costs, the costs that are used to actually deliver the product or service to your customer. Your overheads or your indirect costs are the other costs that you might be incurring in your business. So these are things like subscriptions, rent, motor vehicle costs, accounting fees. They're the costs that you still have to pay and are still perfectly valid business expenses, but they aren't necessarily attributable to the product or service that you provide. The next thing you need to have a look at is the market that you are operating in. What are your competitors doing? How much are they charging, and what basis are they charging that on? So by the hour or by the service. Now this method is really useful to understand what your market is doing, and it's really important that you understand what your market is doing, but it can't be the sole way of doing it, because it's the quickest way to be unprofitable is to just do what your competitors are doing. I fell into this trap. Hundreds of other businesses have fallen into this trap. When I first set up the business, I literally rang around every other accounting practice in the area, found out what they were charging on a like-for-like basis, and then hit my fees up in about the middle. What you don't know when you do that is what costs their business has. You don't actually know what the inside of their business looks like, and the chances are the inside of your business is very different to the inside of their business. So how they come to their pricing is not going to reflect how you need to come to your pricing. So yes, use this as a tool, but it can't be your only tool. The next thing you need to do is know your customer. You need to know what they are driven by, what they value, what it is that they are looking for. So the best way to do this is to just conduct some very basic market research. It doesn't need to be anything fancy or expensive, just something small that you can just have a chat to a few people, just go and stand in the shopping mall and pick people's brains. You need to know what it is that drives your client, what they really value, what it is that they are looking for. You need to really understand it. So you need to know what they're looking to pay. You need to know what their needs are. You need to know what they value. Then you can broaden it out a little bit and get to know a little bit more about them, so you can find out what occupation they have, where they live, what it is that they are looking for in the service or product that you are providing, what their socioeconomic status might be, how much they earn. All of these things will help to tell you what it is exactly that they are valuing and what it is that they are looking for. Once you know what they are looking for, you are then able to better articulate the value that you provide, because you can align what it is that you are providing with what it is that they are looking for. Once you can do that, it is much easier to charge more for your product or service than it is if you just go in off the bat. The more experienced you are, the more knowledge you have, the more you get to charge. That goes both in terms of the amount of experience you have in the industry and the amount of experience you have in looking at your client and knowing what it is that they need. You must not forget to consider the amount of time that you've put into this. You are just as important to this business than anybody else. In fact, you are pretty much the sole driver of this business. So you must remember to include your time. How do you actually account for that? Well, look, the best thing you could probably do is a timesheet. We all hate doing timesheets, but to be able to estimate the time that you've actually been doing on things, you do need to record it somehow. That way, when you're actually pricing up your product and pricing and pulling together all your costs for how much this is all costing you, you can include the time it's taken for you to actually create and do all of your hard work in there as well. All that work that you do for the business may be done at the front end. It may not be something that you do on an ongoing basis, but it does need to be included in the costing, because otherwise you have absolutely no return on your own personal investment. And that is fundamentally important to the business. After all, that is why you went into business, is to actually get a return on your own investment. The next step number 5, is to actually decide on the profit margin that you want. Now, your profit margin will be driven by a load of factors. It doesn't necessarily mean that you just put a finger in the air and say, I want a 50% profit. It does tend to be a little bit industry driven, and in the industry that you are in, you will have a gut feel for what your profit should be based on the experience that you have. Once you have the profit that you would like, you need to take your total costs and multiply it by your profit as a percentage, and then you take that number and add it to your total costs. That gives you your absolute total costs that you need to use to work out your pricing. Very simple, but very important. And the last step in this process is working out how you're going to charge. Are you going to charge by the hour, or are you going to have a price list of services that you offer that you can just go out and give to people? So for example, are you a hairdresser? If you're a hairdresser, you might have a list of services you provide: a half head of foils, a full head of foils, tinting, blow dry. You might just list it all straight out. If you are a service-based business, you might be doing the same thing. You might sort of say to yourself, okay, we're going to charge this much for a tax return, this much for an FBT return, this much for financials, this much for end of year trust minutes, this much for payroll, this much for bookkeeping, and you just have a list that you trot out. You might be more of a consultant or a psychologist or a psychiatrist, where you actually need to charge by the hour, because the way that your clients come and see you is by the hour. So it's a better way to charge it by the hour. Again, it comes down to your business. It comes down to what you want to be doing and how you want to be doing it. Today, we've looked at the 5 different ways you can use to price your product. So that is a fixed cost plus markup, by the hour or by the day, on a retainer basis, commission, or in the value of what you're providing. Then we've looked at our 6-step process. So the 6-step process is knowing what your total costs are. So that's the total of direct and indirect costs, to know exactly how much the costs are for your business. We've looked at what the rest of your market industry is doing and how your competitors are pricing their products. Then we've looked at the value that you're providing and totally understanding what it is that your client or customer is looking for in the service or product that you are offering. We've looked at how much it is that you cost to actually put all of this together and how much you have invested in this. We've looked at the profit margin that you want to be charging or achieving, and then we've looked at how you want to charge, whether it's by the hour or for a list of services. Like I said at the beginning, pricing can be really hard and it can take a lot of tweaking to get it right. But using this 6-step process will actually help start you off on the right path to making sure that you have the confidence to charge what you need to be charging and to make sure that you're getting it right going forwards. Thank you for watching today's video. I hope you thoroughly enjoyed it. Leave a comment below if you want to see more content like this going forwards. I will put in the description bar anything else if you want to contact us and become a client or talk about this more in future. Please hit the like and subscribe button if you have enjoyed the content, and hit the bell if you want to have notification about receiving more videos like this in the future. Thank you. Enjoy your day. Bye.